My name's Lori, and I was diagnosed with psoriasis when I was very early in my 20s. I had a fall and I had a spot that wouldn't heal, and it just kind of got worse and a little worse. It spread, and then I ended up moving away for a job, and my total outbreak happened from head to toe. And I kind of had an idea of what psoriasis was about because both of my parents, have very mild cases. Starting off with the various treatments, because they'll always want to treat something with some creams and different, different applications that we might be able to do before we have to go to any extreme measure. So yeah, creams and all of those kinds of routines, tar baths and all kinds of gunk to put in your hair. Coming home from work, there was no nightlife because there was a couple of hours with this in your hair, and then you needed to soak, and then when you were finished with your soak, you had to apply this medication and this ointment and had to leave it on for a certain amount of time, and then it was time to wash this out. And so by the time you went through your whole ritual, it was evening, and the night was gone, and then you just needed to get up and start it all over again the next day. I think for me, some of the worst parts were just you're trying to get on with your life, and all you can think of is just how itchy you are, and it just derails any sort of normalcy that you want to have to your life. It was a hard seek trying to find somebody who would take on your care. And I was Northern Ontario, so you're even a little more isolated, so things are a little more challenging. So that went on for 20 years with creams and other medications and such, until I entered into a program, a doctor who was running a research clinic and running some trials. So until that point, I didn't even know what was happening out there in the world of psoriasis and care and getting better. This physician was my hero, my angel. And then getting onto some of the biologics to try those, and there was one that worked for me. Unfortunately, I had to make a career move, but fortunately, there was someone knowledgeable and more than competent waiting to receive me as a patient. And I've been in his care, and it's been glorious not having to have my whole life be consumed by the disease. So to be clear, to be healthy, mind, body, spirit, all of that. Having lived with, plaque psoriasis for so long, it eventually, morphed into psoriatic arthritis. So thankfully, the medication that I'm on, it's all one family, and, everything is getting looked after. I think because I am the person that I am, I was able to make people comfortable around me, but of course going into public where nobody knows you, and it's just too stinking hot to wear a long sleeve wool sweater in the middle of July. So of course there were questions, and then of course people who just don't understand, they can be fearful, and that fear, turns into not some nice comments. But my family was supportive, my close friends. So strangers, it was difficult to really put yourself out there in a social setting if you didn't know anybody, because it was just really hard to trust somebody who didn't understand. Relationship, I would cut myself off from engaging in social settings quite often, just because what I looked like, and everything that goes along with the psoriasis. There are all kinds of success stories out there now, and I would encourage them to read some of those other stories and to talk to other people and to hear how you know, how they dealt with their psoriasis, and you gladly direct them in some direction where they're going to be able to get some answers that they need.